Shebahn Aherne has joined us. Morning, Shebahn.
Good morning.
Shebahn. Brought some intelligence to the room.
Well, I can try my best. Looking at the back pages for you this morning, the Times going for "I feared I was going to die," says Ben Youngs, ex-England number 9, had heart surgery after he collapsed in an open training session. He's got a heart arrhythmia that he's had to have fixed and sorted out. He's spoken in a podcast about what happened to him that day he collapsed in an open training session. He said he kind of opened his eyes and there was 30 fans in the stands looking at him, and hopefully he's going to be fit and available for the return of the Rugby Premiership. So it's an incredible story. It's going around a lot of the papers today of Ben Youngs. Back page of The Sun this morning. We'll come to this story in detail. How to boost power play to keep Eddie as target. Also, the introduction of Lenny Yoro for Manchester United. His pictures were revealed yesterday. He thanks Rio Ferdinand for making sure he helped him with his choice to come to Manchester United. The Express this morning, no rest until we're back on top. That's Dan Ashworth saying that he wants to focus on Manchester United being the best at football again. And the Mirror Sport saying Pep's Eze fix. City want 68 million Palace star Eberechi Eze as Kevin De Bruyne ponders Saudi switch. So that's
I think there might be a change in the guard, of Man United, Man City again in the next few years.
It would be good, wouldn't it? Be good for football.
I think when Pep leaves, I think things might change. I just feel like everyone wants to leave Man City eventually.
Didn't you just say, nice to see you, Shebahn? Nice to have a bit of intelligence in the room.
Yeah,
and
I
you
did
come
say
up
that.
with that. Your next sentence is Man United are going to jump above Man City.
Make a good point.
Not recently, but like in the next 5 years, I think there might be a bit of a change. It's not going to be so dominant from Man City.
Well, but Dan Ashworth coming in, that's his point yesterday. That was the statements that he was making. Okay, we have to be a club that can turn over and be profitable, but also we have to focus on the football and maybe the numbers that they're bringing in. The young players that they're bringing in, and now they've got their project for the next 5 years. But in 5 years' time, it doesn't seem like Pep Guardiola is going to be at Manchester City. And what do they do when he's gone? And also Kevin De Bruyne, if he does go to City, it is a bit of a change around. And also the charges.
Yeah, of course.
What happens there as well?
When is that? What's going on with that? Do we know?
Who even knows? What is it? Autumn? There's going to be a hearing in the autumn, isn't there? So whenever we hear an update from that, you never know.
Shebann's a Man United fan. You know that?
Oh yeah,
you could tell that.
And Celtic.
Can you tell that?
Well, Celtic, Man United.
You're Scottish though.
Yeah, Celtic and Manchester United.
What do you mean, Celtic and Manchester United?
Born in Celtic, married into Manchester United. See, this is funny. People get so funny about how many teams you're allowed to have.
Well, you only have one team.
No, you can have as many teams as you want.
No, you're supposed to have one, Shebahn.
Shebahn, leave the room, come back in and sit yourself down.
You worry about you.
You can't.
I'll worry about me.
You can't have two teams.
Yes, you can.
You can't have two teams.
Yes, you can.
You have one team,
Jamie,
and that's your team. You don't
Jamie,
have,
how many times in the radio
fan.
have I heard you talking about multiple teams that you support?
I don't support multiple teams. I support Tottenham.
You support Tottenham, but you also talk about other teams that you've played for.
Played for Arsenal.
I've played for other teams.
But you would also have your eye on them too. But that doesn't mean because I've supported Celtic all my life, I'm not.
But you haven't played for Man United.
But I've never played professional football.
Yeah, so you have one team.
Hold on. The amount of pundits that we have here can talk about the teams that they played for and still having eyes on them. Doesn't mean because you're a fan you can't support multiple teams.
Ask me who I support, Jamie. Ask me who I support.
Who do you support?
Swansea. That's it.
Born into Celtic, married into United. Don't make it worry you.
Well, it does bother me. So Celtic play Man United in a Champions League final. Who do you want to win?
Probably Celtic.
So you're a Celtic fan?
If it's down to you, Jamie, yes, I'm a Celtic fan. Right, okay. 1-0, Jamie, right. Fine. Let's talk about Eddie Howe. He's on the back page of The Sun today. How to boost power play to keep England at target Eddie. So Newcastle apparently held crunch talks with Eddie Howe in a bid to keep him from England's clutches. This is Gary Stonehouse in The Sun today. It was said last week that Eddie Howe said he needed to be free to work in the way that he wanted. Of course, there's now changes at the top with Amanda Staveley leaving the club. So he needed that support. Apparently, Eddie Howe and Newcastle have had a chat and he's been reassured that he will be given that support and he will be given the run of play there in terms of who's coming in. He had said that give me a list and he can work off that. So it looks like he put things right, but I still see Eddie Howe to England being a thing.
Well, they are the richest club in the world, aren't they? Newcastle.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's
I guess so.
Am I getting that right? They're the richest club in the
the
world.
richest owners.
Bottomless pit of
the
money,
richest owners.
But
They're not
can't
the richest
spend
club.
it.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to change these rules that will allow them to spend more money?
I think they'll have to change it because it doesn't seem to be working, does it?
Not when you've got to sell your best players.
Selling your best players and teams just getting punished for,
I think Simon Jordan's your man.
Your best players are to get rid of. Yeah, wrong show, Dean. I think you come to the wrong station.
But the direction of Newcastle aside, Eddie Howe, he must be like, the idea of England would be exceptional, or is the lure of Newcastle and being one of the richest clubs just too much to walk away from now?
I think, Dean makes a good point. Being an international manager, is you only get the players for 3 months. You want to be, you want to be in day to day working with them, and I think at Newcastle you're going to have that. You're going to love that, and you're getting top players there. I just, for me, I'd love the England job is just the ultimate. It's the ultimate job, isn't it, for any Englishman?
Imagine being Eddie Howe, being an Englishman, and the idea of possibly winning the World Cup in 26 with that crop of players. How do you not say yes to that? But also Champions League, Newcastle, money coming in, Premier League. Wow.
Yeah, and you know what it is as well, like Shebahn, you get it every week. You're at a massive ground. You're going to stadiums. That match day experience as a manager is nothing better. As an England manager, you're not really getting that, are you? You're only getting it once every 3 months, and then you have a tournament, and then you're stressed out, and then you don't see the players again. Week in, week out, you're turning up St James's Park, fans sold out, everyone loving you in the town. I think it's a difficult choice. It would be a difficult.
And you
one
are coaching every day.
And now this narrative as well with England that the next person who gets the England job has to win the World Cup. I mean, talk about that for pressure.
Yeah, it is a bit of pressure. Yeah.
Ugh, a wee bit.
All right, Shebahn, thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Shebahn.
We're going to be seeing you out.
I'll come back with one team.
You're only allowed to support one team. All right, simple as that.
You're not allowed to tell me
I know what you're
going
to say. You're going to say Celtic.
Guys, it's not for you to worry about.
Well, there's a lot of people messaging in, Shebahn.
Jamie, hold on a minute.
Messaging in.
If you spoke to a Scottish caller on the phone and they said, I'm a Celtic fan, I'm a Rangers fan, I'm a Hearts fan, whatever, you'd say, yeah, but who's your Premier League team?
No, I
So
wouldn't.
you are allowed to have a Premier League team.
I would never say that.
I'm sure I've heard you say it.
I'd never say
I
that.
listen to the Sports Bar every morning.
I'm
every
telling
morning,
you that,
Jamie.
Shebahn, I would never say to a Scottish fan who's a Hearts fan, say, what's your Premier League team? I wouldn't say that because they're a Hearts fan.
Bet you would. Teams like that, I've said something like that before.
No,
Sounds like something I've said in the past.
I follow the clubs that I played for. I always want them to win. But if you nail me down, I support the Swans.
Well, luckily we're not nailing you down this morning.
Yeah, not yet. We're going to try and stop Dean talking ridiculous comments about sun cream and find out how one of the stars of the Open, Dan Brown, celebrated his brilliant performance at Royal Troon.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.